Welcome to the Town of Dudley Board of Selectmen, Highway and Cemetery Commissioners for Monday, March 13th, 2023. Like always, we're going to call this meeting to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're going to start with citizens' comments. Does anyone...
Mr. Chairman, before we start,
Oh, yes. So,
it was made mention the other night, but we want to note the Board of Selectmen note with great sadness the passing of George Petrinos' wife, George Water Sewer Superintendent, Fire Department member for probably close to 30 years. Wendy, wonderful lady, great family. She definitely made an impact, and I speak for all of us. We send our sympathy to George and his family. Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Citizens' comments. Anyone have anything that is not on the agenda that they'd like to talk about tonight? Seeing none, move on to appointments. Election workers, appoint Brian McCoy of 13 Sunset Drive and James Kowalczyk of 21 Sawmill Road as election workers, term to expire 9/30/2023. What's the board's pleasure?
Mr. Chairman,
Mars?
I don't see anybody here for there, but I move to appoint Brian McCoy of 13 Sunset Drives and James Kowalczyk of 21 Sawmill Road as election workers with a term to expire 9/30/2023.
Second.
Discussion?
Yep, quick comment, Mr. Chair. The administrator, especially for new appointments, we generally ask people to come in so we know who they are. Can we just extend an invitation and we have these two gentlemen come in at some point?
Please do, Mr. Town Administrator. Can you make that happen?
Okay.
Thank you.
Brian, Ryan O'Brien.
Yeah, but they're just new appointments.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, the discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Registrar, reappoint Mary Palazzo, 16 Oxford Ave, term to expire 3/31/2026. Mr. Marcy.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we reappoint Mary Palazzo of 16 Oxford Ave with a term to expire 3/31/2026. That's to be our registrar.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Town Administrator's report.
Board members, good evening. The town planner, highway superintendent, a representative from the Economic Development Committee, Luke Mitchell, our senior planner and project manager from VHB, a representative from Mass Development, and I met on site last week to kick off the feasibility study that will provide feasibility study that's entirely grant funded that will provide the town with options and a roadmap to market the 58 acres of town-owned land behind the courthouse. We anticipate that this study will be completed prior to the start of the new fiscal year, and it will be an opportunity for the town to understand the potential for economic growth and the development of the large unused parcel currently owned by the town. Over the course of the next week, VHB will send one of their environmental scientists out to the site to take a closer look at the streams observed on the parcel. With the information gathered then, we will have a better understanding as part of the feasibility study about how the streams will impact the site plan and how, for example, we'll have to approach the plan to avoid any negative environmental impacts. And I use that just as an example as to what a feasibility study is, because there seems to be some confusion as to what the meaning of a feasibility study is and why it's important. So that's just one of many things that they'll be looking at and reporting back to us, so that we can make an informed decision. By way of reminder, there'll be a public forum held at Shepherd Hill to provide an opportunity for residents to hear about the specifics of the override, in particular the plan for managing the school assessment portion of the override. The town and district's independent consultant, the Abrams Group, will give the presentation. I'll be posting the meeting as a joint meeting of the Board of Selectmen and FAA to provide an opportunity for both boards to participate in the panel and hear from and be heard to answer questions of residents during the very important meeting. Again, this will be at Shepherd Hill at 6:30 in the auditorium on March 26, 2023. And we're working with Amanda and a representative from the Communications Department in the district to live stream the event as well.
March 26th?
March 22nd.
Second, thank you.
6:30. Mr. Chairman, we're making progress towards online payroll reporting, as slow as it may seem to date. The department with the most difficult transition will be the police department, mostly because of the many different codes involved in managing the police payroll on a weekly basis and the manner in which it needs to be reported. Chief Karlowicz has had several meetings with Harper's to determine how they will handle reporting, and that effort is now being moved forward. And I think it's important to maintain forward momentum, and we'll continue to work toward the townwide transition, hopefully in advance of the change of the fiscal year. Automating payroll service will be a very important initiative that will increase our internal efficiencies and provide for additional time for our limited staff to work on other duties in the town hall. And I will continue to keep the Board of Selectmen updated on progress. As we went over our budgets, we kind of glanced quickly over the Bay Path assessment. I just wanted to break it down for the board and publicly now for everyone. The proposed assessment for 2024 is $768,269. The final assessment in '23 was $1,102,992, and that's a $334,723 decrease, about 30.35% for Bay Path. We'll swing over to our regional dispatch. The state 911 department recently announced replacement of the recording system equipment that is being phased out in our regional dispatch center. As part of that replacement, the state is sunsetting the dispatcher's ability to use the state 911 recorder for local recording, such as business phone lines and radios. Given the importance of such recordings, our dispatch director, Greg Linsky, submitted a request to them to fund the purchase and installation of a new recorder that will be owned by the regional dispatch rather than state 911. The state has agreed to provide funding under the FY24 program, and the dispatch center will be receiving an additional $22,020 in funding under the FY24 Support and Incentive Grant, earmarked specifically to replace that equipment. And I just wanted to publicly acknowledge Greg Linsky's efforts to save both towns that money and secure that grant funding for $22,000 to replace the equipment. As you're likely aware from previous notices, over the past 3+ years, the town of Dudley has been working with Central Mass Regional Planning Commission and engineering consultants to evaluate public works, infrastructure, and seek grant assistance to improve utilities such as water and sewer mains and paved surfaces, roads, sidewalks, and curbs. I'm pleased to report that grant funds are in place to design and construct various public works improvements on First Ave over the next year or so, and a public meeting to discuss the grant-funded engineering design work and overall project status will be held on Thursday, March 16th at 6 p.m. in room 321A, right here at the Town Hall, 71 West Main Street. Written comments or questions can also be mailed or emailed to Andrew Lowe by March 23rd, and Andrew's contact info is on our Facebook and on the town website, or can be obtained by contacting Michelle Jervis at 508-949-8001. And Mr. Chairman, for the final portion of my report, I was hoping you let Demetrius Hilton, our cybersecurity consultant, come up and give a brief public overview of what some of the things that we may discuss in executive tonight and the sort of progress we've made over the last 2 or 3 years using him as our security consultant and True North Consulting.
Introduce yourself again, please.
Good evening, Demetrius Hilton. I'm with True North Consulting Group, and I had the privilege of being hired under a state grant to do an initial cybersecurity assessment exactly 3 years ago, and got in and out of here right before COVID hit. The purpose of the assessment was to give a baseline, and what I discovered in this town is that there were essentially different IT departments throughout the town, and somehow I was able to work over the past 3 years with the variety of personalities and skill sets that exist in each of the major departments, and we were able to not only do an assessment but I was able to very uniquely disperse the report to the different departments without necessarily having those reports mixed, which gave each of those departments the ability to maintain some level of autonomy. And the strategy that leadership here encouraged me to do was to say, fine, if you guys want to have independent IT consultants, let's just agree on some very important things cybersecurity-wise across the entire town. So with not a lot of resistance, I was able to gain their support, and that's how we've been operating. Now, an assessment, and I wanted the public to hear this, does not do any good unless you actually do something to fix it. So you can do all the security scans you want, you can produce all the reports you want, but the report I did was meant to give actionable, tangible things that we could do. And when we go into closed session, I'll reveal some of those specific security concerns in closed session, and I'll show you some of the metrics I have developed. But I did want a chance, and thank you to both the town administration and to the Board of Selectmen for letting me speak to the public, because I think they need to hear that you cannot operate without some level of cybersecurity anymore. I think everybody knows that. The question is, how do you do that? So the choice I gave you in this town 3 years ago was you can go spend 2 or 3 times that amount with very fine colleagues of mine working out of the Boston area, or you could choose True North Consulting, which was going to give you a very reasonable rate. And in exchange for that, and because of the level of cooperation, it's been easy to work with you guys. It's also been a pleasure to come here, and believe it or not, I regularly visit once or twice a year. And then even though we can handle a lot of the stuff remotely from anywhere in the country, what that does is that gives me the ability to share information from smaller towns than you, larger towns, and large government organizations like the ports of some of the major cities, and use that information to get this town to be just as responsible as everybody else needs to be. Because it doesn't matter whether you're small or big, every government organization is a target these days, and you can read about it in the news. And I wanted to commend you, and I wanted to thank the department leaders that are behind me. I've gotten to know them, the town administrator, all the support staff that I come in contact with, and I appreciate the support that you gave me 3 years ago, and I hope we maintain that. Not too much, not too little, but the right amount. And I would be irresponsible to say you could never get hacked, but we have not so far. And a lot of that has to do with my closing comment is the number one recommendation that I recommended to you, and you'll see this in my PowerPoint, is you absolutely need to have a real ongoing cybersecurity program, and you do. So we can proactively scan new websites. As you've changed, whether you realized it or not, I was right there making sure that that security was in place, and a whole bunch of other stuff that most people don't even realize needs to occur. And so the whole culture now of IT in this town, I'm very proud of, not just because of the effort that I've been able to contribute, but because of the response was like, yeah, Demetrius, we'll help you with the things that are really important, but just don't bog us down with a lot of meaningless reports. You know, just give us things to do, and that's what we did. And I think that your town's money has been well spent. The state grant was well spent. And once again, I hope that you continue to support us, and I hope the public expects that. I kind of feel that they do these days, and I hope that they know that we're using your money wisely. And also people's time. That's a huge factor, that I don't waste a lot of people's time, and they don't waste a lot of my time, so we get more stuff done. Anyways, that's what I wanted to present. Thank you for the opportunity, and if you have any questions, I'm here for the rest of the evening.
You suggest we hold our questions for executive session?
I think it's probably a good idea, Mr. Chairman, unless there's just a 2,000-foot question that somebody wanted to ask.
No? Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
New business. Sean Bowes, Pan Mass Challenge. Wow, it's going to be one of those weeks. Request permission to hold a toll booth on Saturday, June 3rd, 2023 from 9 a.m. to noon at the town line with a rain date of June 10th, 2023. Mr. Bose.
Good evening. How you doing? Sean Bose, 18 Mill Street. Requesting June 3rd for another fundraiser.
Hope for good weather. Mr. Massey.
Sean, how many years have you been doing this now?
This will be my 13th year riding, 11 years with you guys.
You know, as long as I've been here, I've been doing it. So I was like, there's gotta be 10 at least.
It's been a fun run so far. We'll keep it going.
Yeah, you were the
He's the original toll booth guy.
first one. Right, that's great, Sully. Yeah, so he knows what he's doing. So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move that we grant permission to Sean Bose for the Fan Mass Challenge to hold a toll booth on Saturday, June 3rd, 2023, from 9 a.m. to noon at the town line of Webster with the rain date of June 10th, 2023.
Second. All right, we got a second by Mr. Landry. Any discussion?
Just a quick question, Mr. Chair. I know Michelle's not here, but it falls within our parameters of nothing before the week before, right? It's a clear day for him?
There's nothing else scheduled
Okay.
before or after.
And the caveat too, obviously, police chief.
Yeah.
You know the drill.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Bose.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Sean.
Good luck,
luck,
Sean.
man.
Thanks to all the townspeople also. It's been a great run, so I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
There's nothing new on the next item, Mr. Chairman. That was just a placeholder.
So we can skip it?
Yeah.
All right, intent to lay out Partridge Hill Road.
So tonight, as part of the overall procedure to lay out a road, all what's required of the board tonight is to vote its intention to lay out the way as a public way and refer it back to the planning board, and then there'll be a public hearing and a plan description and so forth. But tonight, I'm only asking for the board to express its intention to lay out Partridge Hill and refer it back to the planning board.
So just for the people at home, could you explain the why behind laying out Partridge Hill Road again?
So Partridge Hill has pursued a betterment and wants to be accepted as a public way. We've been working on this for quite some time and we've made good progress. It was one of the initial streets to exercise, to choose to pursue a betterment program through our newly adopted policy. It went fairly smoothly and we're anxious to see it get accepted as a public way. Highway Department has completed the work. The engineering, I believe, is completed, and now it's time to refer it back to the planning board. They'll do their thing, they'll send it back to the Board of Selectmen, we'll have a public hearing with public notice. All of the plans will be in front of us, and there'll be a vote to send it to the town meeting.
It's the board's pleasure.
Do you have a
Yeah.
written motion, John, you want us, is it on there to read? Or is it
So,
just a motion to accept?
if the board were to move,
Procedural check.
if you move to express the board's intention to lay out Partridge Hill as a public way and refer it back to the planning board, that would be the appropriate motion.
Can't see
Pull it up. Mr. Chairman, the Board of Selectmen votes its intention to lay out the way as public, Partridge Hill Road, and refer the petition and layout back to the planning board, Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 81G and 81I.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Okay, old business, Highway Superintendent, update on Brandon Road, Mill Race Bridge.
Basically, about the same thing as the last meeting, we're planning on a start in the first part of April. We've hired a contractor. We're still waiting to sign the contract with him, but that will be taking place shortly. And other than that, the rest of my report, if you'd
Sure,
like me to give that as
absolutely.
well. So there was some water damage that was done from some frozen pipes in the town hall a couple of weeks ago. Their current service master is currently working on doing some demolition, as I'm sure you maybe noticed, going through the hallways. they're working on the stairway. They should be finished up by the end of this week with the demolition phase, and then contractor will be coming in and replacing some drywall that was damaged, some flooring that was damaged in the IT closet, and collector's office, and the vestibule. So more to come with that as that progresses. Again, it's demolition right now, and then there'll be a contractor that comes in to do the flooring and the other repairs that'll take place. And that's about it.
Any questions for Jeff?
Good luck tonight, Jeff.
Good luck, Jeff.
Thanks.
Mr. Chairman, as the next department head's coming up, I just noticed an oversight on the agenda for our student representative to make a report, so we could either do that under departmental communication or community news before Debbie does her thing. Either would be appropriate.
Okay. How about we do the rest of departmental? Okay. Chief?
Just real quick, about a month ago, the Dudley Charlton Education Foundation announced 10 individuals who they nominated for the Heroes Among Us Awards. Officer Phil Amigas was one of them. As you know, Officer Amigas has been a school resource officer for 7 years. He's been an officer with Dudley for over 10 years. And anybody that wants to go to the awards, it's April 1st at the Southbridge Hotel Conference Center. If you want to purchase tickets, just go online or go to Facebook. And just to show, one of the other individuals is Jim Rivera. He's one of the head maintenance people for the Charlton Middle School. So it just kind of shows you what individuals you have working for the town. You have 2 police officers who basically got nominated out of all the employees for the district. So it just shows you what character you have. That'll be it.
Thank you, Chief.
Chief.
Congratulations to Phil and Jimmy.
Yeah, nice job. All right, nothing from the fire chief waving me off. Rich?
Good evening. Very quickly, on the topic tonight, True North Consulting. The town of Dudley's property and casualty has a separate cyber security component. In addition to having Deb Thibodeau here, we have 2 other groups working on things. So the application is a little bit more than 1 page. We're in a good position, and that's back to the comment of 2,000-foot question. You'll never know what the bad guys are planning, but it was a very positive renewal in that there are steps in place and it's ongoing. So we don't have the renewal back, but in the completion, in the application, there were a great deal of questions where at first glance, maybe, and in that deeper dive, these are things that have already been taken care of, and it's an ongoing thing. As much as there's a dollar amount associated with it, think loss control on the other side. You don't ever want to be in the position where, oh my, we had the unspeakable happen. So good to see this under review. You know me, I could talk for the entire evening, so we'll leave it at that. Other than the 16th, all the excise are due, water sewer are due. Anybody who bought a vehicle end of last year or beginning of this year had one of those little trade-ins. That next group is coming out. I know that's the second most popular question. You know, John's making a face.
His favorite bill, right?
It's always a chance to go visit some great people on the second floor. I'll close with my most positive comment. Thank you to everyone. The second floor can bustle on occasion. Everybody and their uncle has a bill to pay, getting sworn in, nomination papers are open, dog license, so on and so forth, even if it's just directions to the second floor. All of the mail comes to us in a timely manner, and everybody has been in with a smile on their face, even though Mondays and Fridays it gets a little crowded. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Reg.
Thanks, Rich. Want to jump in, please?
Spring sports are beginning next week, which is very exciting. Tonight, Shepherd Hill held a fair for the parents to meet the coaches and get more information about the sports. I'll be playing on the tennis team, which is exciting. I played last year. I'm not very good, but I enjoy playing. There's an SAT prep program beginning as well next week, which I will also be partaking in, so I can be prepared for the May 6th test at Shepherd Hill. Student Council is holding a dodgeball tournament this Thursday night at, I think, 6 o'clock. And NHS, the NHS induction will be April 6th, which is a Thursday night as well. So a lot of exciting events happening at Shepherd Hill recently. So, you know, that's very exciting, and I'm happy that I got to bring that to you today.
Thank you.
Stuff.
Job student rep. Community news and information. Debbie LaPlaca.
Would you like me to just take? Oh, hi. So I bring to you some great community news tonight. First item, if we could start with, and you'll see the graphics as we roll along. Just want to let the public know there is a public meeting for First Ave improvements, and I think John covered it in great detail, but the slide was in the mix, so I'm going to go ahead and say a little something about it anyway. So it is grant funded, the improvements, and it's an invitation for people who are affected by the First Ave improvements to go and hear all about the plans ahead. The next item I have for you tonight is an Open Space and Recreation Planning Committee workshop. It is at 6 p.m. March 23 at the library, 40 Schofield Ave. And this is something for residents. Residents are invited to shape the future of open space and recreation in Dudley. This committee has been working very hard to put together this workshop that'll have a lot of informational stuff for folks, and it'll be interactive. The next fun thing on the calendar is an Easter egg hunt and meet the Easter Bunny, also at the Pearl Library. It is from 10:30 a.m. till noon, April 1. No registration is required, and they say it is best for the wee ones age 10 and under. Next, we have what Chief just mentioned in his presentation, and as you can see the photographs there, we have Officer Megas, and we have many community members from around town, from around Dudley, and from around Charlton. You might recognize some of them. They're honoring 10 people who have or are making a difference in our community. And to get tickets, the website is dcedfoundation.org, if anybody's interested. It's a dinner dance. So one of our local businesses is doing something to support our shelter animals. McGee Toyota of Dudley is holding a pet adoption fundraising event called Toyota Tales. And it is 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on April 8th at McGee Toyota, West Main Street location. There'll be music, food, raffles, and the proceeds go to Second Chance Animal Services. Next, for your viewing pleasure, we have Records in BURPEE Petting Zoo, also at the library. As you think, things have been pretty busy over there. And spring is coming, I'm sure we'll see a lot more events. The petting zoo is 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the library. Registration is required. Residents can call the library or go to the library website to register. Earth Day in Dudley. So, Dudley's annual Earth Day celebration, 8 a.m. to noon on April 22. Supplies will be available at the Highway Garage, Indian Road, for teams to pick up or individuals. Team participation is encouraged, and if anyone has needs more information or has questions about this, they can call the Board of Health. Nomination papers, it's that time of year. So as our treasurer mentioned, nomination papers are now available in the town clerk's office for the offices that are to be elected on June 12th. Deadline to pick up and submit papers is 5 p.m. on April 24. By the way, all of these notices are on our town website for anyone who feels I went too fast and need to go back and recapture some information. The next item on the agenda is the Dudley Annual Town Report Cover Photo Contest. So Michelle Jervis, I don't know if she started this, but she's been spearheading this. It's running now through April 1st. We're looking for great shots of our town to be featured on the cover of our annual report. Submissions for the selection committee may be emailed to selecttaa@dudleyma.gov, and that's the Selectmen's office. So we're hoping to get some creative submissions and have an interesting cover this year. And lastly for you, be seen on Dudley Cable Access Television. So Amanda Gage has been looking for new content to run on our public access channel. Excuse me. We're looking for community projects, public events, celebrations, fundraisers, demonstrations, classes. I think Amanda mentioned she'd be interested in even seeing maybe a knitting class online, streaming on our public channel. So for more information or submit content, please contact Amanda Gage, and her email address is agage@dudleyma.gov. For more information on this or any of these items, please visit our website.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you all.
Very
Good
nice.
stuff. Mr. Chairman, I like that segment. A lot of nice positive
Yeah,
things.
a lot of stuff going on in town. Excellent. Speaking of excellent, Selectmen's comments. Mr. Landry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll make it brief. Thank you, everybody, for coming in, giving your reports, and trudging away. Storms are coming, the snowstorm. Hopefully everybody gets home safe and stays safe, and be careful tomorrow. And that's it, sir.
Mr. Sinevich.
I'll make it even briefer. I've got nothing. Thank you.
Mr. Sullivan.
Mr. Chair, thank you. To echo Mr. Landry, it's gonna be a bad day tomorrow. It's gonna be 50 on Thursday, so we'll get through the day. And it's that time of the year again. St. Patrick's Day rolls around. A couple quick comments. As we all know, there's two kinds of people in the world, those that are Irish and those that wish they were. I happen to follow the latter.
Okay.
Former, I mean. Not French.
Whatever.
I'm
But-
surprised, I'm shocked, Mr.
But
Chairman.
leave you a little bit of food for thought. May the best day of your past be the worst day of your future.
Wow.
Send me a falter.
Words of wisdom. Mr. Marcy.
I can't top that, Mr. Chairman. I don't have anything except stay safe, everybody. Good luck to our highway department and public safety teams.
Yeah. Drive like you've been there before.
Exactly. We don't have to.
Can I seek someone to adjourn this meeting into executive session?
That's why I didn't want to say anything. You're going to make me say it now. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to convene into executive session pursuant to the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, subsection 21A3, to discuss the deployment of security personnel or devices or strategies with respect thereto, cybersecurity, VCISO, Demetrius Hilton, and not to reconvene into public session.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call vote.
Carrie Siganovich, aye.
John Marcy, aye.
Stephen Sullivan, aye.
Mark Landry, aye.
Jay Johnson, aye. Unanimous. Thank you
everybody.
all.
Night.